come to Akron, you say you tore your knee up playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what type of transition? Like, how hard was that transition for you for like being done with sports to trying to figure something out and trying to survive? Because the reason I ask that is because, listen, when I got done playing basketball and out of high school, and I realized that going to college, that it just evaporated overnight. Man, that was a super hard transition because so much of my identity had been wrapped in
ball.
Oh man,
I watched you play ball.
that's how people knew who I was, right? It was like was playing sports. So when that was gone, man, the confusion happened. You know,
And people don't know that.
oh man,
You don't have to be in the NBA for that.
No.
Mm-mm.
I came up my whole life playing sports. That was the way that I identified what success could look like or would look like. Was
through this.
Yes.
This is what gave me my swag, my cachet, my popularity.
So when that was gone, I struggled with the transition and got caught up in a lot of stuff because of that. So how was that for you, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, and just dealing with that transition, knowing that ball is no longer there for you?
You put me on the spot. That's
what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for.
So when I tore up my knee, I flunked out of school with a .9 grade.
Ooh.
Not a 1.9.
0.9.
Dude, a .9 grade.
So you really just weren't showing up in class? Because I know what that's like.
I was sitting in that room with my knee bandage, watching the young wrestlers.
Yeah.
Then I would hobble over to Robinson to get something to eat. And I really believe, John, had I not met Lita, my wife, I'm sure I wouldn't have went back to school. I'm sure I wouldn't have went back to school. I was depressed. I understand what you're saying. I was depressed. I felt like I was going to make it. I felt like I had a shot at doing something. And then when that was gone, man, it depressed me. I just stopped going to class.
Yeah.
And I flunked out of school. And I'll never forget when I flunked out, I asked my mom if I could borrow a car to come up to the university. After she told me off, she let me use the car, drove up. I met with a cat named Dean Marion Rubel. He's gone now. He was an older Jewish cat. I came in. He said, "What can I do for you, Mr. Paramore?" I said, "You got to let me back in school." He said, I don't have to do anything.
Right.
You know, I don't have to do anything for you. Clearly, you don't want me a student. He went down that road.
Right.
Why should I let you back in school? I told him I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I'm not going to the armed services. And I'm afraid I'm either going to kill somebody or somebody going to kill me. And I was crying in that dude's office. And he sat back and he looked at me. He said, "I don't know why I'm doing this, but something is telling me you're going to help people." Dean Marion Rubel let me back in school with my scholarship. He didn't take it from me. I went from being kicked out of school to the dean's list. That's how I got my second chance.
So is that one of the first times that you can point to where you knew God intervened and just pat his hands on you, covered you?
For sure. And at that point, I knew I had a calling.
Right.
But I wasn't answering it because I was trying to be the man.
Right.
And so I flunked out. I thought it was over. And that Jewish dude, that old Jewish man, said those words to me and let me back in school. And that's when I started turning it around. That was one of the first times. The first time God did that for me was in high school. So in high school, I was a good kid. Exceptional athlete, good kid. And I have a great memory. So literally, I would sit in class and listen and take my test. I didn't do homework, didn't do none of that stuff. So I was rolling with like a 2-point grade average. I flunked English. They put me in honors English because I passed this aptitude test. And I didn't want to go, but they made me go. I flunked English, so it's time to sign. And John, I got a 1.9999 grade average. I can't sign my scholarship. My coach said, "Come with me," took me to the principal's office. "What's wrong? What's going on?" And, "Well, Ken here, you flunked English." And back then, you only need 3 years of English. I had that. I had missed the 10th grade year, but I had the other 3 years. And so he said, "You're supposed to sign today." It was Valentine's Day, 1984. I never forget. He said, "Hold on a second. This cat, a white dude, picked up the phone and said, I got student number so and so and so and so and so and so in my office." Mr. Traffic was his name. And he said, "Is an F on this transcript that shouldn't be there." Thank you. That's how I got to college.
That's real, man.
That's how I got to college.
That's
He makes a call, tells him to take the F off. I go from 1.99 to like a 2.1, 2.2. I sign. I get to college. I didn't learn from that. I messed up again, flunked out again.
right.
And that's when I heard the Lord say, "I will take everything from you if you don't straighten up. I'll take it all." And so I never really drank or got high and that. I was just kind of belligerent and lazy. You know, just doing my own thing, man, ignoring the call of God on my life, fooling around with girls and stuff like that, but nothing really heavy, just enough. And see, that's how life got me. I wasn't doing nothing heavy, just enough to detain me. Right.
No, talk about it. Yeah, talk about it.
Nothing that's gonna get me arrested or anything like that. Just enough that you won't be who you're supposed to be. That's why.
And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That's all it
It can be a split second.
Just-
You don't even got to be anything in your control.
Just doing all the stuff that you don't need to be doing so you can't make it. That's what I was guilty of.
That's real, man. That's real.
So a lot of cats will think, "Oh, you drinking, oh, you smoking, or you doing this, or you doing that, or you selling." Or you do. Nah, I just was lazy,
Yeah.
belligerent, and taking for granted all my opportunities.
Yeah.
I ain't do nothing. So it don't have to be the other stuff. You can implode just doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's all it takes. And I mean, going back to what we said at the beginning, when you dealing in this system, a lot of times, man, you can be a victim, of oppression. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you mess around if you ain't on point.
If you ain't on point, if you ain't locked in, check this out, man. So I told you I went to school in Youngstown. I graduated from the Rand High School. Mm-hmm. So I graduated. I'm in my first class. Government and politics in the U.S. Lita was just laughing about this story. Government and politics in the U.S. Dr. Lieberman was the teacher. This cat sounded just like the cat on Ferris Bueller's Down. Bueller. He sounded just like that dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm in class and I'm sitting like this.
Uh-huh.
Everybody in there is white, except for the girl behind me and me. And so John, she said, knocked on my shoulder. I said, "Hey, what's up?" I'm thinking she want to talk to me because I'm full of myself.
Yeah.
She said,
"What's happening?"
He said, "What's up, girl? What you need?" She said, "Aren't you P-Mo's brother?"
Okay.
That was our nickname now.
Okay.
"Aren't you P-Mo's brother?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You're not gonna write none of this down?" I said, "This?" Because I
can retain this. This is light. This is light. Watch me work. This is light.
She said, "You probably need to write this down." So she pulled her back, gave me a tablet, gave me an ink pen, and said, "Write this down." That's my first college experience because I wasn't used to studying. I wasn't ready for college. So how many of us come out of high school and because the teachers love us and all that, they pass us and we're good and we're cool, but have no inkling about what it takes to be in college?
Man, listen, you talking, man. When I remember being a student, again, I told you, I struggled with the transition, of not playing ball and going into school, So I tried to just go to school because, again, after sports, school was the thing that felt the most normal to me. Ended up flunking out at Akron U. I ended up going to community college down in Canton at Star State. I'm messing up again. And there's a professor I had, little lady, short lady, Miss Riddle. And I'll never forget, it was the day before, winter break was about to take place. And I'm literally on the highway, getting ready to go to Columbus and go kick with my little cousin on Ohio State's campus. I never forget, this lady called me, "John, where are you?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm about to go out of town." "No, you messing up, come back and get yourself together and you will pass." Just like that, hung up the phone. I never forget it.
Wow.
I'm literally on my way to Columbus, about to get on the highway. I'm going to kick it, I'm going to party, and in my mind, I'm done with school. I'm going to rest out. But in that moment, God intervened and put a lady in my life who I liked, who I
Who
respected.
you would listen to.
And
It's got to be somebody you'll listen to.
and she ain't had to say too much, but she said just enough, and it just resonated with me. Like, dang, let me quit playing around, man. Let me quit messing up on myself, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I couldn't see the vision for myself, I don't want to let her down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now I got accountability.
Right. Bingo.
Because they're pouring into me.
Bingo.
I got to pull this off.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Bingo.
you got it. You got it.